solar PPA or solar lease, you can still sell your home, but it can be, there can be some difficulties that arise with the transfer of ownership. But anyway, the solar loan, it's no money down, you know. So we've sent somebody to your house. You've agreed to terms with us. We've sent a surveyor there. We've done your permitting, your interconnection application, engineering. We've installed all the panels. We've sat for a final inspection. We've got approval from the township and the utility, and you still have not paid a dollar. It's really cool.
What's the interest rate?
The interest rates vary from about 3.9% to I think 6.9%, depending on what term you pick.
So what are the terms that match with those interest rates?
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you exactly. There's a bunch of different programs that we choose from. We'd have to, you know, run credit and break it down. But on average, it's pretty competitive to where prime is now, right? What's prime right now? Like 4%, 4.5%?
5.5.
Oh, it's 5.5. I guess I'm lucky I bought my house when I did. But it's a
The lower the loan, the lower the rate. Yep.
No, the
No,
shorter
the other
the
way
shorter
around.
the loan, the lower the rate. The shorter the loan, the lower. Yeah, the short loans, I think, with like 5 years, it can be lower than prime even. But after that, it varies. But so you go solar for no money down. You get the tax credit and the SRECs, which is great. You didn't pay a dollar for it, but you get those incentives. Now, with the tax credit, I've seen people that have taken it for themselves. I met this guy in Beverly, New Jersey, that I think got a $10,000 tax credit. He took $5,000 of it to pay off his credit cards, and then put the other $5,000 to the loan, and that was totally cool. He could do that. So you do pay monthly. Again, 5, 10, 15 years, 20 years, whatever term that you pick out. But you are cash flow positive because of the SRECs, the energy savings, and the tax credit, which is really phenomenal. So, you know, I said before, the average homeowner is going to make about $2,000 a year from the energy credits. The average homeowner, I would say, is going to save minimum about $1,000 a year with our program. So, no, you're not going to become filthy rich by putting solar panels on your home, but you'll save a few bucks by doing it, you know. Sometimes at least $100 a month or more. The next one is the solar PPA that we offer, which is called a power purchase agreement. This one we recommend for a lot of people that maybe are retired or don't have a lot of income that they can take advantage of the tax credit with. So whether you go solar with Green Power Energy or any other company, what's important is that if you're shown a lease or a PPA, to make sure that that rate is locked in. So when I talk about not being able to sell your house easily, it's not necessarily because somebody goes and says, oh, I don't like that. It's because they don't like the terms of the agreement that you have. So when we sell solar leases, we make sure that you're locked in at your rate. Solar PPA, solar power purchase agreement. Instead of buying solar from the grid, you're buying it from the panels on your roof. And let's say that PSE&G rate all in is 17 cents. You might be able to get locked in at 12 cents. So maybe you're saving 25% off your bill. It'll be a 20-year term. That's kind of how it works. That's definitely a less popular option. We definitely reserve that more for people that can't take advantage of all those tax situations. The solar loan is by far our most popular option. I would say that out of every 100 people that go solar with our company, probably maybe 70 of them, 75 of them have done the loan. Maybe another 20 have purchased outright, and then maybe another 5 did the PPA. It really leans that heavily. And then, of course, the cash purchase, the outright cash purchase, which tons of people do. If you're concerned with interest rates and fees, a lot of people will self-finance. If you have a relationship with a personal lender, you could always do that. You're going to avoid all that. And if you really do shop it out, perhaps you could do a little bit better. But the solar loan packages, they make it so easy. It's really nice, and the ability to do what you want with that tax credit is nice also. But those are really the 3 options: solar loan, solar PPA, very similar to a solar lease, basically the same thing, and a cash purchase. Is there any questions about that? All right. So why go solar now? It's affordable, it's low risk, it's secure. The sun keeps coming up every morning. Even if that SREC market that I talked about is worth 10% of its current value, you're still going to do okay with solar panels on your roof. And then also what's overlooked is it's something that's great for the environment, and no one ever talks about that anymore. My background was environmental planning. I wanted to design sustainable cities for the future and just do all that really great stuff. And solar really is that great. With solar and wind power, New Jersey really will be 50% renewable by 2030. I mean, that's absolutely amazing to anybody that flies into Newark Airport and just looks at that just sea of lights that looks like a cancer with all the pollution and the oil containers in Bayonne. And it's a joke that people think of when they say it's the Garden State. But in fact, New Jersey is one of the greenest places in the country, and that's really phenomenal. So you have the ability to contribute to that, which is fantastic. And then also there's financing programs available to you that minimize that out-of-pocket expense. And again, we didn't always used to have those programs. It really was just for people that had that money to do that. I don't care who you are, $30,000 is $30,000. There's some people that do have that kind of money laying around that choose to do these financing programs because they say, shoot, this is a good rate. I'm cash flow positive on this. I'd rather keep my money, making interest in whatever investments I have. And also, really, the sense of urgency is this is a very good sweet spot for solar in New Jersey right now. Solar prices that are all-time low, even with those tariffs that you might have heard of. We got hit a little bit, but right now the panel prices have come back down again. We're able to reach manufacturers that aren't hit by that as much. And the tax credit is going to start to go away, and the SREC program is going to start to transition out. So if you are interested in solar, now is a really good time to take advantage of the full 30% tax credit. It's still not too late to get into the SREC program and save money and go green and be one of the 110,000 people in New Jersey that have already done it. And that is all I put together. So we can keep talking about anything you want to ask.
What does the system cost?
Our average cost system in 2018 was $31,000. But they really do range. It really depends. I get asked that question all the time. We've also sold systems last year that cost $10,000. We also sold system last year residentially that cost $160,000. So it really depends on what your bill is.
Bill and the size of the house.
And size of the house, available roof
So,
space.
yeah, a 3-bedroom house in this town. Again, I don't know Nick. I don't know where he lives.
Yeah.
But it's something like Nick.
I don't know, maybe about 25K.
Okay.
Yeah, my system was 25,000.
Oh, that was a good guess.
Which was right on, and by using that tax incentive, where normally I would have to pay thousands of dollars in taxes for my income tax, I got almost $6,000 back. So that was right off the bat, and then the first 3-4 months I had the system in, 0 electric bills. I was like, this is awesome. And then I started getting SRECs every month, selling them for $200-something a piece.
Did you install your system this year, 2019 or 2018?
2017.
2017.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago I went on, because we started it in the end of 16,
Okay.
and then when I finally powered on, it was 2017.
Yeah, and don't forget to look at that by the net cost, too, because that 25,000, in 1 year isn't 25,000 anymore. It's gone down at that point to, 16,000. Consider the net
You're
cost.
losing me because of
The tax credit.
Tax credit.
Yeah, your net cost.
30%.
Yeah, so then that'd be your net cost and then SRECs and savings. Yes?
What's the long-term, so I know you're saving money by using the solar power, but what's the long-term lifespan of the solar panel, and when the solar panel is no longer viable?
Sure.
What happens to it?
Sure. So as far as the lifespan of the panel, most of the products that we use now have a 25-year product and performance warranty. So they'll still be a viable energy producer for at least 25 years. They degrade about 0.5% per year, right? So, after 20 years, it's lost maybe 10% of its efficiency. It's still a powerhouse compared to the panels. When I started in 2011, the average wattage panel we sold was 200 watts. Now the average wattage we sell is like 310. So it'll be a viable energy producer for a long time. But as far as what happens to that equipment afterwards, I think that is a kind of an elephant in the room for these big manufacturers and what happens to this. And I also think that there's going to be probably a big market for recycling these materials in the future. I'm sure that they'll have.
Recyclable?
Well, yes, they are recyclable, yeah. But if you look it up online, there's not too many companies that are doing it. But I'm sure that somebody will figure out a way to do that. But yeah, you got to do something. You can't just dump those things into a landfill.
Well, you figure
So that's
all that silicone's got to be worth something.
Yeah, there's got to be something there, but that's kind of to be determined because it is still very new. Solar is barely 10 years old in New Jersey, so these are problems that we need to figure out now that's going to come up in 10 years. Yeah.
Do you have to insure this?
That's a good question. So what you need to do is let your homeowner's insurance know that you've installed solar. Yeah, and that's going to help you out.
You got lightning or
Exactly,
that
because
kind of stuff?
we warranty our roof penetrations for 25 years. Our panels are warranted for 20. All that stuff is covered. But let's say the tree from your neighbor's yard falls on your roof. Unfortunately, Panasonic Solar is not going to pick up that bill, but your homeowner's insurance will.
How long has your company been in business?
We've been in business since 2009. Yeah, so we're one of the longest running companies in the state. We're still a local company. We're still a privately held company. We're a profitable company, and this year is our best year yet. When I started with the company, there was 3 of us, and now there's 55 employees and growing.
Do you have solar on your home?
I don't actually yet. I bought my house last June, and what I need to do first is re-roof and take down 4 trees. And the cost of re-roof was $8,000, and the cost to take out these trees was $5,000. And I chose not to go into debt to do those things, so I'd like to pay cash for those home improvement purchases first before I do.
Yeah, I had to take down a tree. There was a big tree that was.
That's just how I operate, though. Like from a personal standpoint, I don't pay it off my car. I don't like that. A lot of people don't operate that way. I suppose I subscribe to like the Dave Ramsey outlook on life. If you ever listen to his podcast, which is just like pay down all of your debt instantly, is my type of thing. So I do have a contract signed with the company, though. I just got to take care of this stuff first.
So Andrew, I want you to help me make sure I'm clear on the 30% tax credit for this year. So system costs $25,000.
Sure. Yeah.
So you're saying for this year, if I were to start, then I would get 30% of that $25,000 or $7,500 as a tax credit.
Yes.
Next year's taxes.
For 2019's taxes when you file next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way
Absolutely.
that it was explained to me, because they're installing in my house later this spring.
Okay.
They've already done the first couple parts of that process.
Right.
And the on a 10-year loan, the way it was suggested to me is that you assume that you're going to put that entire 30%
Right.
into the loan next year. That all goes against the loan to reduce the loan. And the way that I looked at it is that I looked at what's my annual JCP&L bill now,
Mm-hmm.
what's it gonna be when I'm paying this loan,
Mm-hmm.
and then how do the SRECs mitigate that?
Right.
And I'll give you the numbers. My annual bill right now with JCP&L is about $2,600. On a 10-year loan, I'd be paying $4,300 to pay off that loan a year. The SRECs would be $35.95, and my net would be, in my pocket, would be over $1,800 on a 10-year loan. If you did it on a 20-year loan, in your pocket would be like over $3,000.
It sounds about right.
And your bill from JCP&L is either 0 or close to 0.
Right. Well, and that's assuming, that's the way to design it so that it nets out
Right.
what you would spend.
Yeah, basically the SRECs cover any of those other out-of-pocket expenses for the most part, as far as it goes right now.
Now, I would think I have a house that I have a southern exposure. I have 2 roof lines that face us out. I pull up Google Maps and it says, "Nah, you're in a lousy area." I don't have trees shading it, so
What do you mean, Google? It's a.
Or maybe it was Zillow I pulled up, and it rated.
Well, I could take a look at your house. and let you know what I think. But if you don't have any trees in the area, you should be good.
Where I was going with that is, so what do you guys look at when you evaluate the potential for the roof exposure and how much sun you're going to get?
Yeah, so we actually use a tool online for the most part now, which uses images from Eagle View, which is even better than Google. It's like you're looking right over the house, and what it does is it creates the tree. It's recognized by the state as accurate shading input, and it shows the trees and how far the shadows would cast and everything like that. We're still not able to do that from using the satellite, which most of the times we are. We can actually get up on the roof with a device called a sun eye, and it connects to a satellite, and it's like a fisheye lens, and it takes a picture, and it can show how much shading impact you're going to have throughout time of day and time of year.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure that you can produce, we say no to people all the time because of shading. It doesn't help us out to have somebody call us every day angry for 15 years, So we try to, and I guess as we get bigger as a company too, we've gotten better at saying no a lot, I think that early on we were trying to fight for anybody that owned a roof,
Yeah.
And now we have no problem saying, this isn't, take care of these trees first or this and that. Then there's some people that can't even go solar at all, We get this phone call all the time, oh, the solar just goes across my house all day, and you look at it and they're just socked into the woods. And, even if you just took a couple trees out, you've got a whole forest behind them. Mm-hmm. So we'll take a look at that for you, make sure that you're clear. Anybody else got anything?
So every once in a while, a big wind comes through, a hurricane will come through.
Yeah.
How well are these things attached?
Well, we were in operation during Hurricane Sandy, and we had, a few dozen houses down in Long Beach Island, and we did okay. None of the panels became uplifted, and that's because they are rated to withstand the weight of hurricane force winds. And let me see if I had this old presentation I was about to pull up for you guys.
Yeah, I was curious what the rating on it as far as the wind, how much wind it could handle.
Yeah, it can handle a lot, but I'll show you. Actually, this is my old presentation. I had a how solar is attached to your roof slide. So it's just basically flashing material, and it's screwed into the rafters. And when we inspect the house, again, we have to have that architect sign that to say that it can withstand those hurricane force winds, and hurricane force winds with snow on them too. So it's amazing how well they hold.
So do they have to be cleaned?
That's a really good question. For most customers in New Jersey, that answer is no. For our customers that are down the shore, and there's lots of birds, seagulls, and birds droppings, then that answer is probably yes.
And who does that?
So there's companies that do that. You can definitely do it yourself too, but for people that live in Pequannock, the answer is no. That solar field that we have has never been clean, ever. The rain does all the cleaning for us, really. But there are services that do that. Where you see that a lot, where those solar services are based out of, is usually Southern California or Arizona. Well, they'll get a lot of dust and then not a lot of rain, and it'll accumulate. But they are maintenance free in that regard. But we had a couple customers in like Manilokin specifically, or Forked River. I remember this one guy who had just like seagulls everywhere. He had to clean them. Yeah, but in Pequannock, you shouldn't have to worry about that.
How could you clean them? I mean, what kind of material?
So,
stuff you use?
Yeah, I actually wrote a blog post on that pretty recently, and what some people have done is they use car wash soap detergent, and then those soft car wash brushes. But if it's really bad, you don't want to kill yourself up on that roof. That's our first thing I say in the blog post. Make sure that you're safe, because you could slip off that roof pretty quickly. But I would probably leave it to a service if you did that. They say that cleaning your solar panels can bump up their efficiency by about 5%. But the rain really does wash it off. If there was a market here for us to upcharge our customers by offering a cleaning service, we certainly would. But there's just not much of a need for that in this area.
Yeah, as soon as it rains, it cleans them right off. You know, even if it's covered with pollen,
Yep.
as soon as it rains, it just takes it right off.
Yeah, we clean all that. We
Probably wash it
also,
off yourself with a hose, right?
Yeah.
yeah, you can do that. We also install critter guards around our solar panels because we had people that had squirrels get under there and build nests and stuff. So we just started doing that, you know, free of charge for all of our customers. We work with this company called Solar Pest Solutions, and they do this thin, barely visible grate that goes around the panels now, so you can't get any intruders underneath.
So how much of a gap between the panel and the top of the roof?
Yeah, it's about 3 inches.
About 3 inches?
Yeah.
So do you have any information? I would guess that that would reduce the heat inside the attic.
You're right. And also what it does is it allows kind of a natural convection cooling, because you're going to have hot air rises and it's going to go underneath and kind of create this current. So yes, it will cool down your attic.
Because
At
doesn't
least
it,
for the area it's covering.
Right.
doesn't it extend the length of your roof by like 10 years?
Yes, it will. But again, at least for the area that it's covering, you know, so yeah.
Paul, have you asked your homeowners how much your insurance is gonna go up, or have you not quite
Yeah, we're
gotten
covered.
there yet?
It's covered, it's not gonna go up at all.
You don't have
Yeah,
to-
mine didn't
you
go
don't
up
have
at
to
all.
add to your insurance?
No.
Oh, so you just have to tell them it's there?
Yep.
Cool, okay.
That's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming pretty mainstream, especially here in New Jersey. So, you know, the insurance companies are okay with it. And, yeah, you get that extra protection, so.
And resale value on a house, I assuming that it's paid for or whatever by the time you sell your house.
Yeah, it's tough for me to pinpoint an exact answer, because all the studies that I've seen have been done from Berkeley Labs in California, so it's tough to relate to the New Jersey market. But I think that it's safe to say that at least what you invested in the solar, you can get, you know, more, you know, back on your house. It depends. I mean, I would equate it to putting a pool in the ground, to finishing a basement, things like that. It's a home improvement project. You should be able to get more money for your house that way. But, you know, again, I would make sure that you have a program that makes sense to anybody that wants to buy the house. Like my mother-in-law in Arizona did solar with Solar City. She said that it's going to be the greatest thing ever. We're not in Arizona, obviously, so. And then she sent me the quote, and it had a 3% escalator in it. And I said, this isn't going to work for you, especially if you want to go sell the house, because it was something really stupid. Like, she was paying 15 cents for electricity, and they were going to charge her 13 cents with a 3% escalator. So after like 2 years, she was going to be paying more. So just make sure, you know, like you said first, obviously it's paid off. Make sure the program you pick is a program that you would want to have if you went into the new house.
So in essence, just to challenge you a little bit, it's not quite the same as a pool in the ground, because the pool in the ground doesn't generate S-rings.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's a challenge. I think it's a complimentary comment to the whole thing.
No, but that's, you know, that's gonna become part of the selling point of the house then?
Absolutely.
It has solar, and so the new homeowner is gonna benefit from the S-Rec.
Sure,
Correct?
you can. Yeah, you can give. So here's the thing too. I've seen customers go both ways that sell the house. The SRECs are your SRECs, whether you live in the house or not.
Oh, is that right?
So you can give them to the new homeowner, or you can keep them to yourself. That's your prerogative.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
So wait, when you sell the house.
Yeah.
You keep earning.
You could,
But you still have to go to the house and take a picture of the meter.
I suppose, or you could access the monitoring portal online if it's
you
considered revenue
could
grade.
you could use
Yeah.
the monitoring tells you exactly how much.
I mean,
Assuming
we-
the buyer wants you to keep, I mean, they might not buy the house if they can't get the
Like
escrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose.
I'm just saying, you know,
Heater.
to get super technical about it, they're your SRECs whether you live in the house or not. But we've had, at this point, because we've been in business for 10 years, we've had a bunch of people that have sold their houses. And everybody gives the SRECs to the new customers, so we'll
They
talk to
do,
the new
right?
customers.
That'd be part of the selling process.
Yeah, and we get to meet a lot of new people that call in and you know.
You have to have a loan, you have to have the loan paid off
Can't
before you
check
sell
my
it.
S-Rex.
No, the loan can be transferable over to the new homeowner.
Do they have to qualify?
They have to qualify, but you know, people that are buying a house, I assume, are going to be in a decent enough credit standing to be able to do the solar loan. The minimum FICO is 640 right now. We have one program that goes down to 600, so we're signing up a lot of. The credit becomes less and less of an issue. The credit requirement when I first started was 750, which was like not too far after the financial collapse either, and that's tough to get, you know, financing.
So then you're totally off the loan then at that point.
Yeah, you're totally off the loan. Yeah, it's transferable, and it happens all the time. Every day in New Jersey, people sell their house and bring it over to a new homeowner. And in our personal experience, we haven't seen any issues when it comes to resale. We've been able to talk to realtors. We've been able to help homeowners write their listing to include, the solar in it and things like that. And yeah. You're not going to get that kind of help though with a lot of other companies. There's a lot of great companies out there. I think that all my competitors are great. Like I subscribe to the Church of Elon Musk. I've just read his biography. I think that Tesla's fantastic. But the problem with Tesla is that they're generally going to want you to do the lease system, because they're not only just invested on making the sale of the equipment, but they want your money every month from that financing at a certain rate, and you're going to find a higher cost. And then furthermore, you're not going to be able to just pick up the phone and get an instant response. As a solar company, we've dealt with big national companies. We work with Tesla. We're a Tesla dealer. We install their batteries. We install their charging stations. We've worked for SunPower, which is a big company. Johnson & Johnson. We've worked with a lot of big companies that we've worked with and been partnered with. And it's just something about the corporate world that everything just takes a little bit longer. You've got to make 4 emails to schedule a phone call time and things like that. And with Green Power, you just dial a 908 number and get somebody in New Jersey to talk to instantly, anytime. Yeah.
What was that website you said, Eagle View?
Oh yeah, Eagle View, but I don't want to misspeak on what the actual program is. Eagle View, I believe, is what they use as their map inside of that program.
Okay.
But we can. I'm trying to think what it was. It's called Seiken. Seiken is the name of the program. Yeah, and even if you're not ready to sign up until you know that for sure, we can help you with that. We'll type in your address into Seiken, and we'll have the guys downstairs run a report for you on that, so you can have some peace of mind and obviously figure out if it's even worth it. So I know Nick put a sign in there. I'll take that, and if you want to sign in here too, and if you are interested in having a meeting with our company, it's totally free to do that. I have everybody's calendars on here, so I can get you on the schedule for an appointment where we would take a look at the house and then walk you through our options. What's really good about our company is that our approach is pretty collaborative, whereas with other companies, our salespeople have control over the layout on the roof and what program you go with. Where with a lot of other companies, they say, okay, you're going on this sales call in Pequannock, here, take this, and then they go, and then that's all they're showing you, and you get to the house, and that's not what it looks like, and they're stuck. So with our company, it's collaborative, and that we're pulling up the house in front of you. You say, oh, well, I don't know if the 15-year makes too much sense. I don't think I'll be here that long. All right, let's throw the 5-year right here, and you're going to get that instant feedback to really know for sure what's going on. So, so if you do want to get a quote from us, please do sign in. I got brochures here, business cards, and what I didn't mention before is that I'm NAPCEP certified PV technical sales. I'm one of 9 people in the whole state that can actually say that they're a professional in selling solar. So you can ask me anything you could ever imagine about solar, I could answer for you. And that's all I got. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thanks, Pequannock.
Yeah.